Welcome everybody to the Super Mario All-Stars All for Any Percent tournament. We are in the semifinals of the second chance bracket here with a wonderful matchup between Revelyte and LK431. LK is our 3 seed and Revelyte is our 5 seed, but recently, Revelyte has actually overtaken LK in the Super Mario All-Stars All for Any Percent standings on the leaderboard. Revelyte 11 days ago got a PB of 34 minutes and 7 seconds to move up to third place on the leaderboard. LK's PB, 34 minutes and 36 seconds. So these two are within half a minute of each other. And they are underway. They are going to be running in traditional order. So that will be Super Mario Bros. 1, then followed by 2J, 2U, and SMB3. So we are underway. We're going to pause Revelyte here just for a minute so we can sync up the timers. And LK with a 365 on the timer, Revelyte with a 362. So both of them grabbing the mushroom in 1-1. Once again, we'll be running SMB1, SMB2J, which is also known as the Lost Levels, SMB2U, and SMB3. And all of these are going to be any percent. So the idea is beat the game as fast as you can. That's what any percent is. So we're going to beat each of these categories as fast as possible. And both players have successfully grabbed the Fire Flower, and now they're through this first little tricky section here. LK maintaining a slight advantage. Revelyte not quite getting the pipe jumps perfectly there, so he will lose a little bit more time to LK here, but not much. Just about 1 in-game second there, and they are already into World 4 of SMB1. This one is going to go very fast, of course. Most of these runners will run SMB1 in the 5 to 6 minute range, so this one's going to go fast. Make sure you pay attention, and we're already in World 4. This is going to be the most comfortable level of all the levels, probably in the whole speed run for these runners. 4-1, you just run through. Don't worry about Lakitu throwing the spinies. They're not going to hit you as long as you keep running. Both runners ending up with a perfect 340 on the timer at the end of 4-1. Now we're going to go into 4-2. This is going to be a bit of a tricky level. They're going to try to duck under this little overhang here and get pushed on the screen to the right. And that push to the right, there we go, as you see from LK. That will move them to the right of the screen, which will allow them to execute what's called the wrong warp. So they'll go down this pipe, and that's going to take them to this overworld part where normally the vine would take you. And both runners successfully executing the wrong warp and are making their way into World 8. But normally you would take a vine there and then have to wait for a cutscene. And so this wrong warp saves at least 5 seconds if you execute it really well. So both runners getting the wrong warp done. Revelyte, a little bit of a stair boss, what we call a stair boss there in the warp zone. So that will expand LK's lead just a bit further. But both of these runners very close. I mean, within probably 10 or 15 seconds of each other. So anybody's race so far. And a very clean race from both runners so far. No hits, both grabbing the power-ups very well. World 8. There are no checkpoints here. So if you take a death in World 8, you're going to go back to the beginning of the level that you die in. So you definitely do not want to take a death in World 8. We see perfect 200 from LK and Revelyte just behind with a 198. So, losing a couple in-game seconds here and there, which allows LK to expand his lead, and LK perfect through the beginning of 8-2. Those duck jumps are not free. And Revelyte actually going to take a safe strategy, probably pretty smart. Just make sure you keep that power up. LK having a bit of trouble there in the cannon section. Let's see how he executes the end of 8-2. It can be pretty tricky. He gets a nice bop off the Koopa there. Oh, well done at the end of the level and avoiding the 336 on the timer. And Revelyte, not too far behind, gets a 337 on the timer, so he closes the gap just a tiny bit on LK. You want to avoid that 6 in the ones digit of the timer if you hit the flagpole, because that will give you 6 fireworks, which will cost a little more. Both runners managing to avoid the 6. LK with the 335, Revelyte with the 337. Now they're in 8-3. You're just going to fireball these hammer bros out of the way. Make sure you watch out for the hammers. Some interesting hammers there for LK, and he gets kind of a trolly hammer brother, but still gets the 242 on the timer, which is optimal. He may have lost the high 242 frame rule whereas Revelyte definitely got the high 242 frame rule. So we may have closed another 0.35 seconds there on LK. And when I say frame rule, this game checks for a level completion every 21 frames. That's about 0.35 seconds. So you can only gain or lose time in increments of 0.35 in SMB1 until this last level when timing starts or stops when you hit the axe. So already into the final level of the first of the 4 speedruns, both runners opting to go for the coin block climb instead of the wall jump there. The wall jump being a little bit of a trickier strategy, especially on the All-Stars version, where that plant isn't going to despawn in the pipe there. So LK into this swimming section here, as is Revelyte. So they're in the same room even of the same level. And LK already up on Bowser. Let's see what time he gets. A 5:11, very nice time for LK. Perfect clean run, and Revelyte just behind with a 5:17. So these runners are separated by 6 seconds going into SMB2J, the Japanese version of SMB2. In the US, we know this as the Lost Levels because it was not released in the US originally. So that's why it was called the Lost Levels, and this version on the SNES was actually the first version that was released in the US. And both runners here opting for Luigi, very interesting strategies. Luigi and Mario, unlike SMB1, in SMB2, the Lost Levels, Luigi and Mario actually have different physics. So Luigi will jump higher than Mario in SMB2J, but he'll also accelerate a little bit slower and stop a little bit slower. So you might say he's kind of like on ice. He doesn't quite gain as much traction, but still a very close run for both runners so far, heading into 1-2, our first underground level. And we will see a coin block climb in the second room of this this level here. That coin block climb, you want to make sure you don't fall into the lava right near the hidden coin blocks, because if you do, you're going all the way back to the beginning of 1-2. So definitely do not take a death in this room right here. We see perfect execution from LK. Revelyte taking a bit of a safe strategy there. Nicely done. And it's his turn to execute the coin block climb. Taking it a little slower than LK did, but he is clean through as well on his way into World 4. 4-1 should be a bit of a breather for these runners. It's one of the easier levels in the 2J speedrun. Not to say it's easy by any means, but should be on the easier side. A nice Lactitude kill there from LK. We actually saw Revelyte power up, which is interesting. So we got the big Luigi strategy going on, and now we got fire Luigi strategy. So you get to see a cool little sprite there for Luigi. Oh no, and as I say that, we lose the sprite there. We had the fire Luigi sprite with the white coveralls and the green shirt there, but unfortunately Revelyte taking a hit just after he grabbed the power up there. So we'll see if he tries to repower up in 4-2 or at any other point in the speed run. But right now, both runners are small Luigi, and LK opening up close to a full level lead, not quite a full level lead, as Revelyte takes that damage there in 4-1. LK will be going into 4-3, where you'll have some bullet bills that you'll have to contend with. Hopefully, the bullet bills don't provide too much of a challenge here for LK. They can be a little bit trolly, so we'll just have to see how he plays this here. Different runners have different strategies for dealing with these bullet bills, and LK just powering through. Nicely done, and no problem with the bullet bills. Great 4-3 for LK, and now it's Revelyte's turn to do the same thing. LK will be heading into 4-4. I should mention this is our first of 2 castle levels that we will see in the Lost Levels run. This one is not a maze level, but there is a tricky section there at the end. You're going to have Bowser's fire and then Bowser jumping. There is a Potaboo, which we won't have to worry about too much because the Potaboos in the SNES version of this game go all the way to the ceiling, whereas in the FDS, the Famicom Disk System version, which is how it was originally released in Japan, the Potaboos are of variable height. So nicely done for LK in 4-4, perfectly clean through 1.5 of our 4 speedruns. This is the halfway point in terms of number of levels for SMB2J. Let's see how Revelyte does at the end of this level. He gets a pretty tough fireball to deal with from Bowser, and unfortunately takes a death there. So Revelyte will have some work to do to make up time on LK. LK so far perfectly clean through 1.5 of these 4 runs, as I've mentioned. It's going to be a little bit of a road to climb here for Revelyte, but anything can happen, of course. And in SMB3, there's always the hands, which are 50-50 random things that you get pulled into in World 8 of SMB3. And each hand that you get will cost you about 20 seconds. So if Revelyte were to get no hands and LK were to get 2 or 3 hands, he can make up as much as 1 minute on LK. So these two separated by almost exactly the length of the 5-1 level. It is one of the longer levels in the speedrun here. So depending on the length of the level, LK has about anywhere from just under to just over a 1 level lead on Revelyte. 5-2, we are not going to see the Devil's Spell, because you're not going to do it on this version of the game. That would be where you clip into a pipe to do a wrong warp, kind of like we saw the wrong warp in SMB1. Instead, we are going to reveal this vine here. And beautiful climb from LK, getting up even above the vine, so perfectly executed there. Revelyte missing the super jump, as did LK. Neither runner getting the super jump up to the top of 5-1 there. That would save you a little bit of time. What you would do is bounce off of that second Koopa, go really high in the air and land on top of that platform. Instead, because neither runner got the super jump, they had to do the hidden coin block climb. So another hidden coin block climb in 5-1 like we saw in 1-2. So LK is in World 8, and like SMB1 in the Lost Levels, there are also no checkpoints in World 8 of SMB2J. So if you take a death, once again, you're going back to the beginning of the level. We see Revelyte powering up here in 5-2. A couple of nice power-ups to grab there, which make it relatively comfortable to grab those power-ups. And Revelyte, an excellent climb up the vine as well. Beautifully done there. He will be going on into World 8. Meanwhile, LK finishing up 8-2. Doesn't get the double bounce there, but nicely done to go up and get the vine there and climb up to 8-2. And he'll be grabbing the flagpole as Revelyte enters 8-1. So Revelyte, he'll get to use a little bit different strategies because he's big fire Luigi, so he'll be able to fire some Hammer Brothers out of the way and not worry about that. Also very comfortable with these jumps here, of course, as both Luigi and Big Luigi. That makes 8-1 a whole lot easier, heck of a lot easier than if you were Small Mario, for example. LK, meanwhile, is in 8-3. And there will be some Hammer Brothers here at the ends, and then you have to reveal a hidden block that you'll need to get up on these pulley system, these elevators here. So there's the hidden block, and he's actually going to reveal both of them and run past the pulley system here, as Luigi can do. Mario actually would have to wait on the pulleys there to raise the second elevator, so he'd lower the first Beautiful double bounce, by the way, Revelyte. He did get the faster double bounce. And LK, meanwhile, into our last level, 8-4 of 2J, so almost about to complete the second of our 4 runs here in the all 4 any% tournament. And I should say the winner of this match will move on. The loser of the match would be out because this is a double elimination, and both of these players have already taken 1 defeat. So the winner will move on to face the winner of tomorrow's match between YMGC, the number 1 seed, and Rupert83. I should say Sunday's match between YMGC and Rupert83. Rupert, of course, our tournament creator and host, and YMGC, the number 1 seed. So that'll be a good match as well. Make sure to tune into that on Sunday morning, 11 a.m. East Coast time, 8 a.m. Pacific time. LK coming up to see Bruce here. Bruce, the first of the 2 Bowsers in this final room of 8-4, decides not to throw him a forward pattern, so he waits out the hammers. And we'll be heading up here towards Bowser. Bowser also not being a bro there, but finishing with a time of 13:53, finishing SMB2J is LK. So that'll give us a chance to see where Revelyte will stand in relation. 13:53, remember that, for LK as he heads into SMB2 USA, the version that was released in the USA of SMB2. And LK choosing the strategy of going with Luigi here. We've seen lots of different strategies from runners in SMB2U. It all depends on your comfort level. You can use Toad, you can use Mario, you can use Luigi in this first level. Haven't seen anybody run Princess yet in 1-1 of SMB2U, but certainly we've seen lots of different strategies, and LK powering through with Luigi. Meanwhile, Revelyte, he's past Bruce in the final room. Got those fireballs, put him to good use, and now up to Bowser. He's going to jump, does take a hit, and 1449, so about a 56-second advantage, something like that for LK. You know, so we have a 53 versus a 49, so yeah, about a 56-second advantage for LK at this point in time, and LK. Nice Birdo kill there, and we do see the strategy difference here. Revelyte choosing Toad, so when he picks up this enemy here, Toad will now have speed boost, so Toad going really fast. That's one of Toad's hidden strengths here, is the fact that when he does pick up a heavy object, he gets to move really, really fast, whereas Luigi has, like in SMB2J, has the very big jump. So LK choosing Luigi, and he's going to go for the key kill here on Birdo. So you can carry this key into the door here, and then when you get to Birdo, if you execute this properly, you'll get a very nice fast kill on Birdo, as we see LK there getting 3 hits on Birdo because that key ended up doing 2 hits worth of damage. Revelyte, meanwhile, facing his first Birdo here in 1-1. LK is going to choose Toad in 1-3. This is the traditional strategy for all runners to choose Toad, fly through this level, and then you'll be grabbing the potion to warp to World 4. However, once we warp to World 4, we're actually going to do something different than the NES version. In the NES version, you just keep going from World 4, but in the SNES version, you can actually save the game, quit out, then go back to World 3, because as long as you've gotten to World 4, the game will go back to previous level, so you can go back to World 3, and from there you'll go 3 to 5 to 7, and that actually is faster than taking the World 4 version like you would on the NES version. So Revelyte having a little bit of trouble with the key kill there, but he does get the kill on Birdo and heading on through to 1-3 himself. Meanwhile, LK has already executed the save and quit, so LK is now in 3-1, and he has decided to choose Mario here. And warping on to World 5. So LK already into World 5. Meanwhile, Revelyte about to warp over to World 4 and do his version of the save and quit dance in SMB2U. So this level, you're going to choose Luigi because there are some pretty big jumps here, and Luigi is the guy that is going to handle these ginormous jumps. And this first really big jump coming up right here for LK, perfectly done. You want to make sure you hold the A button down when you do that jump. That way Luigi falls slower. You don't want Luigi to fall quickly there and then fall into the gap. So make sure you hold the A button when you execute that jump. And now we've got a Birdo fight. This green Birdo is only going to shoot fire. So LK using that mushroom block to get a really nice kill on Birdo there. Revelyte doing the double jump strat there to make sure he identifies which of those kind of little tops of the vegetables is actually the potion there. So Revelyte now into World 5. LK, meanwhile, into 5-2 after that nice Birdo kill in 5-1. We will also see how Revelyte executes the big jump here with Luigi. And LK going to be doing the vine climbs. So very good jump, Revelyte. And these vine climbs, if you are jumping up on these vines, you have about an 8-frame window with Luigi. Whereas on any of the other characters, you have about a 3-frame window to hit those vine jumps. So you're basically just holding left or up and left, depending on the strategy that you want to do. And as you're going off the vine, you press A to jump. So that's how you execute those vine jumps. And certainly with Luigi, those vine jumps are much more comfortable. You also see some ladder jumps or some chain jumps. Same strategy there. And you will see that with Toad in World 7. And Toad, of course, a 3-frame window to execute those. This Birdo fight here for LK, one of the tougher fights, Birdo fights in the game, if not the toughest. And that's because that kind of maroonish red Birdo, he will throw eggs, he'll throw fireballs. There's a fish there, there's a gap there, so it makes it kind of tricky, but LK making, again, very good work of that Birdo fight. We see Revelyte now here with the vine jumps, and one little hiccup there, but other than that, looking very clean on these vine jumps for Revelyte. Unfortunately, an extra couple extra screen transitions there for Revelyte. That's gonna cost some time. You gotta be careful at this point. Maybe just climb, and that's what Revelyte does. So a little tricky there, but survive without taking a hit. And LK already in World 7. So gonna take the rocket ship up here to the next part of 7-1. Meanwhile, Revelyte coming up on this tricky Birdo fight as well. So we'll see how he does here. The first one is a fireball, and he takes a hit there. So he's got to be very careful not to take any more damage. Almost there. Cutting it close is Revelyte, getting some fireballs there, and gets the Birdo kill. So Revelyte will be moving on. LK, meanwhile, doing some ladder climbs with Luigi here. That was some nervy moments there for Revelyte, but came through clean to still be in it with a chance. Once again, we will have the hands in SMB3 that could make or break this speedrun for either runner, because they are separated by, in the neighborhood of a minute. I think Revelyte's probably lost a little bit of time relative to LK in SMB2U, but not a whole lot. So, they're probably a minute 15 apart or something like that would be my best guess. But we'll be able to tell when they hit time at the end of SMB2U what their gap is. Meanwhile, LK into our final level, 7-2. Of course, using Toad here. That is the preferred and fastest strategy. And this is where we will be seeing the chain jump to get up to the top here. And perfectly done. First try by LK on the chain jumps. That is that 3-frame window that I was talking about that you have with Toad. So just an incredible run we've got going here for LK. So clean. Revelyte having a little bit of trouble getting up to this ladder section here. You'll have to go back and try again. And the enemy despawns, so certainly going to lose a lot more time here. Unfortunately, that is not what Revelyte needed. But he does get around this time over to the ladder as LK is about to head into face Wart here. So he will be picking up the vegetables. He'll know the pattern, and then it's all about just getting the timing down and making sure you throw those vegetables into Wart's mouth. So there's the first hit on Wart. Meanwhile, Revelyte is small Luigi here, so he's going to be very careful with this Birdo fight and throws the mushroom block in the wrong direction there. This Birdo fight is going to be very tough, and he's going to have to wait for those fireballs. All right, he picks up the mushroom block, which will allow him to avoid getting hit there by those fireballs. That animation helps him avoid getting hit, and he does get the kill. Meanwhile, LK getting the kill on Birdo and finishing with a time of 22:29 after SMB2U. So LK on quite the pace here, heading into SMB3, our final run of the 4 runs. So once again, 22:29 through SMB2U for LK. So definitely on an incredible pace here. One of the better paces we've seen in the whole tournament. LK now in 1-1 of SMB3. He opts for the mushroom here. You'll see different runners take different strategies. Some of them opt to get the mushroom here. Some of them will just stay small through 1-1. Really, it's all about comfort level, especially in races. And LK decided to take the safety of the shroom here in a 1-1. He will be going into 1-2. Meanwhile, Revelyte heading into one of the final couple rooms here in SMB2U. LK, meanwhile, getting P-Speed here. Not early, but still getting P-Speed, and will be through 1-2 nice and clean. Revelyte is small Toad here, so he's going to have to be very careful not to take a death, especially if it's towards the end of this fight. If you are going to take a death on Wart, you want to do it right at the beginning of the fight. So Revelyte got to be very careful. Already 2 hits here on Wart, though. So off to a strong start versus Wart. We do see LK grabbing the leaf here to become Tanuki. Well, not Tanuki, but Raccoon Mario here. So he'll be able to fly. And Revelyte getting another hit there on Warp, but LK going to grab the first of 2 Warp Whistles. We will need 2 Warp Whistles to warp to World 8, and speaking of Warp, we just killed Wart, as did Revelyte. So Revelyte looks like he's almost 2 minutes behind. That was about a 24:19, so minute 50 or so behind LK. We saw Revelyte definitely struggle there in that 7-1 section, which cost him some time. So about a minute 50 behind LK, but if the hands are in his favor, you can make up a minute, and if LK takes an untimely death, this race is not over. And Revelyte going small Mario, as I mentioned, different runners for different strategies in 1-1. Revelyte going as small Mario. Meanwhile, we see LK grab the whistle in the World 1 Fortress and is already in World 8. Get your resident sleepers out because it's auto-scroller time. And Revelyte in 1-2. We'll see if he gets early P-speed here. He does. Nicely done. Early P-speed for Revelyte. And a perfect 1-2 for Revelyte. And just turning around there to make sure he doesn't get the star. Almost overran the card there, but does get the mushroom, so you won't have to worry about getting a 5 up there, a fresh 5. And he is in 1-3, and we'll be grabbing the first of 2 Warp Whistles as well. LK, meanwhile, as we mentioned, resident sleeper. But the one thing you don't want to do in these auto-scrollers is get too lackadaisical and take some damage, that unnecessary damage that'll cost you time and also risk maybe taking a death. So don't get careless in these auto-scrollers, even though they are air quote boring in a way, but LK so far so good through the first auto-scroller. Meanwhile, Revelyte will be in World 1 Fortress and trying to grab the second Warp Whistle. So we'll see how he does on this leaf grab. Perfectly done. And he will be grabbing the whistle to head into World 8 as well for his turn at the auto-scroller gauntlet. So one thing I will mention about the auto 3 of the NES version is runners trying to eliminate a lot of these cannonballs and various things, bombs, to reduce lag. But in the SNES version, you don't really have to worry about it as much because it has so much more processing power that lag is pretty infrequent on the SMAS version. So we'll see if LK goes for this power up here. So this question block does have a fire flower. And yes, LK going to try to grab it here. And does so successfully. Nicely done for LK. Great fire flower grab. That is not an easy one to get. And if you don't get that, you'll be grabbing fire later. But you sure do want to have it here because these boom boom fights at the end of these auto-scrollers will be a lot quicker if you do have the fire flower, because it'll just take 5 fireballs to kill the boom boom instead of stomping on it 3 times. And that's definitely going to save you quite a bit of time per boom boom fight. And also, you'll just be in a really good shape for the rest of things as well. If you can keep this fire flower all the way through Bowser's castle, then you'll be able to fire kill Bowser as well. As I did mention, there are other places to pick up fire. You can get it in the World 8 Fortress, for example, is a very comfortable spot to grab a couple of power-ups. But certainly in this spot here, it's the most preferred spot to grab the fire flower because of the ability to kill the boom booms. Revelyte is in the first of the 2 auto-scrollers here, and LK in the second of the 2, and ready to take on Boom Boom here. 2 fireballs, 2 more, and then 1 more. Nice kill on Boom Boom. LK will be heading on to the hands. What are your predictions for the hands, chat? I'm going to say 1 hand for LK. There it is, the first hand for LK. It is on the second of the 3 possible hands. And this is the shortest of the hands, so only about a 15-second time loss here for getting that second hand. But LK already getting 1 hand there, so not going to get 0 hands, unfortunately, there. Meanwhile, Revelyte, his turn to grab the power-up, does so successfully. Great power-up grab by Revelyte as well. And LK does get 2 hands, so A chance for Revelyte to make up some time if he's able to get no hands, because LK did get 2 hands here. So, you know, Revelyte could close the gap 35, 40 seconds with a no. So I'll say Revelyte's going to get no hands. I'm going to predict no hands. Let's go, Revelyte. Let's get no hands. LK, meanwhile, into this airship, the fastest of the auto scrollers that we have in the any percent run for SMB3. Certainly, when I was a kid, I would always P-wing over this, but these runners don't need the P-wing. They're amazing. They're talented. They're just going to fly through here, fireballing, and making sure they don't take any tumbles in these big gaps here, because if you take a tumble, you're going all the way back to the beginning of the airship. Don't take a tumble. That's the main thing. Revelyte, he'll be coming up to Boom Boom here. 5 fireballs on Boom Boom. As I mentioned, nice fire kill there instead of having to stomp him 3 times. And he is up on the hands. So let's see how many hands a Revelyte gets. Meanwhile, LK killing another Boom Boom. How many will it be for Revelyte? 1 hand. That's the middle hand there that LK got. Shortest of hands. If he is able to get only this 1 hand, though, he'll still make up about 20 seconds on LK. Both runners having really clean SMB3 runs so far. Hopefully no commentators curse as I say that. But very nice runs. The only issue for LK, of course, would be the fact that he got 2 hands here. Doesn't quite get P-speed, and now does take a hit. So maybe that was a bit of a commentator curse. He did take a hit there, lost his firepower, but he still is Big Mario. So that will be a bit of an advantage there, just in the fact that he only took 1 hit, didn't take a death, didn't let the damage compound. So he is going to leaf up here for 8-2. Smart idea. And that is one of the benefits of getting a hand. If you do take a hit, you can just immediately leaf up. And LK going with the leaf strats here in 8-2. Avoiding the sun, no issues there. Gonna fly over, and not a big deal to take a hit there because he is gonna have to grab the. So he will grab the fire in the fortress. He's gonna get the star, I believe, to start the 8 fortress, and then grab the firepower anyway. So taking that hit, not a big deal at all for LK. And we did see Revelyte get only 1 hand, so LK grabbing that fire flower, as I mentioned, and going through the fortress here. We will see if he's able to get the 1 cycle P-switch in this next room coming up here. So you hit that P-switch, then you're going to go through this door here, and then try to do some things here, avoid those waffles, keep getting this next door, and you'll be able to duck under this spiky section here. Really nice 1 cycle there for LK, and once again a Boom Boom kill, 5 fireballs, as Revelyte through 8-1 into 8-2, but he has kept his firepower through 8-1, unlike LK. So he should be able to make up some time here on LK, relative to what LK did in 8-2. LK, meanwhile, into our last of the auto-scrollers in World 8 before heading into Bowser's Fortress. And Revelyte perfect through 8-2, well done. And we will see Revelyte take the star and head into the World 8 Fortress as well. If something were to happen to LK and he were to take damage, that could be a pivotal moment, because then he wouldn't be able to do the Bowser fire kill. So, depending on where that damage was taken, but really needs to make sure he doesn't get hit to Bowser, not have a fire kill on Bowser, because that'll cost a lot of time. He'll have to wait for Bowser to break the bricks. So that would be maybe Revelyte's best chance of coming back here would be if LK were to take a hit before Bowser and have to do a slow Bowser kill. But Revelyte has made up some time in SMB3, a little bit cleaner play, and also 1 fewer hand. So has made up some time on LK in SMB3. 1 more final Boom Boom kill there. The 4th of the Boom Boom kills in World 8, as Revelyte is into the last auto-scroller as well. LK, time to head into Bowser's Fortress. Going for the clip and gets it. Well done, LK. Woo! Beautiful. And another clip here, but this is the easy one of the clips. Just duck and get over that little block there, and it'll push you right through, zip you on through there. And the main thing at this point is to make sure not to take a hit to the fireballs, Bowser's fireballs here. Not to fall in the lava either. So, LK. Time to face Bowser. 35 fireballs on Bowser. See if he's able to get a clean Bowser kill without taking a hit. That's a pivotal moment right here for LK. Will he be moving on in this tournament? Will Revelyte be going home? Yes, LK killing Bowser. And an incredible time, not far off of his PB. His PB was 34:36. Get your GGs out for LK with a time of 35:08 on the dot. Nicely done for LK. 35. Great run for LK. Within about 32 seconds of his PB, and of course he got two hands there, so without those two hands that would have been a new PB for LK. So GG's out for LK. A little bit of bad RNG PB, but incredible run. And also Revelyte with a really solid run. Just a couple of hiccups relative to LK, but other than that, a very solid run. Unfortunately, that will be the end of the road for Revelyte. Revelyte, this is the second loss in the tournament for him, but he is up against Bowser. Once again, 35 fireballs. Let's make sure we don't take a hit here. And nicely done for Revelyte. He's out as well for our third place any percent runner, Revelyte, getting that PB of 34:07 just about 2 weeks ago. So unfortunately, that's the end of the road, as I mentioned, for Revelyte. LK will be moving on to face the winner of our number 1 seed YMGC versus our number 6 seed and tournament host Revelyte23. That match is going to take place Sunday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern time. And that'll be 11 a.m. Eastern time, 8 a.m. Pacific time. And they will also be running this same order: 1, 2J, 2U, and 3. We'll have Dash Retro on the commentary. Maybe somebody else. We'll see. But a great race. Both runners, nice times. And Revelyte there finishing with a time, once again, of 36:23, 35:08 for LK. So Revelyte did make up a lot of time there. He made up about 35 seconds on LK. Part of that being, but that was only about 20 seconds. Made up another 15 seconds just in execution. So a really good SMB3 for Revelyte. But that is going to do it for this matchup in the all four any percent tournament. Let's see. I'm just going to try to make sure we don't have any interviews or anything like that. I don't believe so, but real quick, just going to check up on this. Yep, so no interviews today, but let's also give a shout out here to SpeedGaming for hosting this tournament. Make sure to check out all the different SpeedGaming channels, SpeedGaming 1 through 6, I believe it is, in all different languages as well. We want to thank them once again for hosting this tournament. Let's see, right now over on SpeedGaming 1, we got some Bite the Bullet. On SpeedGaming 3, we got a randomizer, SMB3 randomizers. We got a lot of other SpeedGaming family of networks. And click follow on both of these runners, Revelyte23 and LK_431, two incredible Super Mario All-Stars runners. And, you know, we could see a world record from any of these guys here. The world record, of course, being a 33:42. Revelyte only 25 seconds off, and also holds the all 5 any percent world record with a time of 45 minutes and 45 seconds. So certainly some top tier runners we just watched. And we will see you guys as far as this tournament. Once again, Sunday, 11 a.m., YMGC versus Rupert. Dash Retro on the commentary. Other than that, I am out. So Once again, thank you to Speed Gaming. I am Takate. We will catch you on the next episode of the Super Mario Brothers All for Any Percent Tournament. Have a great night, everyone.